People, and welcome back to the R&D show. We're your host. I'm Shad,
I'm Ryan.
and you're tuned into the one, the only R&D show.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Hopefully everybody had an amazing week and you're feeling good today. Yeah, you know. Oh, and shout out to everybody that enjoyed the last video, and the comments were amazing, and the feedback and the conversation. So we really appreciate that. So thank y'all so much. Let's keep it going. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep liking. Let's keep talking about these things that are important in the world, in our community, and with ourselves, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys sharing, liking, loving our stuff. We appreciate that interaction in the comment sections. So keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to come in here and get a video done and talk about, the Grammys just passed on Saturday.
The snooze fest?
Sunday.
God, it was a little lackluster for me.
Yeah, it was sleepy time. It was a lot of sleepy time moments, and it's just like, this is why we don't watch the Grammys, is because...
This is why we watch the Grammys recorded, so we can fast forward through certain parts, okay?
Absolutely. Watching it live was different, but there was something that we wanted to really talk about when it comes to the Grammys and touch bases on. Of course, this is always the conversation every year, is how in the major categories, one, Black artists are always snubbed or left out, but then also just in Grammy history, Black artists in general are left out of categories just in general. So I love the fact, and I know this has been a lot of, this conversation has been up for debate when Jay-Z went up to accept his award, and he decided to use that opportunity and that platform to shine the light on the Grammy system and how, in general, they have snubbed his wife. Now, yes, Beyonce has 32 Grammys, and she is the most awarded artist in Grammy history, right? However, she has never won in any of the major categories. She's never won Album of the Year. I don't think she's never won Record of the Year. So there's these major categories that she's never won in, but then they'll say, oh, but she's just good enough to win in these other categories, but not the major categories. The major categories goes to what history has shown, the white artists, right?
Or some eclectic artists that we haven't heard of.
We've never heard
the
of.
Grammys want to prove a point and want us to actually listen to the music. So,
if that's the case, but it's more so them proving a point of, you're good but not good enough, right? Or you're good but not good enough to win this, or you have to keep going harder in order to achieve that, and it still doesn't work. And so first, I want to point out the fact that, yes, this has been said over and over again every single year, and people are always saying, well, Black people need to stop showing up to the Grammys. Why do you care that much? Create an award show that is, just for you guys, that's on that level. Support the BET Awards, support the NAACP Awards, support
Soul Train
Awards, all the rest of this stuff.
Yeah.
And these artists have supported these awards. We're not going to take away the fact that they have. Now, do they go every year? No. But also, some of these same artists do not go to the Grammys every year because they're not nominated every year. So you can't just say, basically, that this is something that has to be done every single year when nobody does that every single year in general, right? Here's the thing. One, yes, he was right when he says their system is pretty much set up for you to fail in general. There was an interview that went back around, it made its rounds again, and Candy from the group Escape was on the Grammy committee and kind of talked about the voting process, which some of us already know. What happens is everybody gets a hand in the voting process, gets to, go ahead and select who they think should, be nominated and things of that nature. But that's it. Once that's done, then it gets into the hands of people that nobody has ever seen before. It's people that have not aged out of these positions. It's older white people that have been in these positions for a very long time, and they get to decide who wins those awards. And so problem number one is we don't know who these people are. They're nameless and faceless. We just know that they're older white people, right? These are people that probably have never listened to some of these albums, number one. And then they may have family that are big supporters of a Taylor Swift, or an Adele, or, so they've heard these songs before, but haven't heard some of these other artists before. And so that's one problem. The other problem is there was a conversation that also made its round saying that an artist like Beyonce, let's just say Beyonce, she has won so much, she doesn't deserve to win in those big categories, those major categories.
What kind of mindset is that? I mean, what kind of thought process is that? Just because you won in the smaller categories, you don't deserve to win in the album of the year category, which is historically the biggest category? That makes no sense. It means if you're winning those smaller categories, you should be winning, the big category as well, at least once in a while. And to have 32, 34 Grammys and not to even have album of the year.
Or record of the year.
She doesn't have record of the year?
I don't think she has record of the year.
Really? That is shocking.
I think what's crazy is a lot of her Grammys are like engineering on an R&B album or, that type of thing, but not where you're getting more of a song of the year, a record of the year, album of the year. Two albums in particular should have one album of the year. Let's just be very clear. Lemonade, I don't think that there is an argument, not even Adele, who won that Grammy that year, argue that Beyonce should not have won that album of the year. I think everybody knows that. Let's just say three: the Beyonce album, Lemonade, and Renaissance. And everybody argues these three albums because the writing's on the wall. It definitely should have been album of the year. Even the artists that are there winning in those places have said the same thing. Like, I'm not understanding why she did not win album of the year. I hear what people are saying when they say, well, support, the Soul Train Award, support this. It's not that people don't support that. It's that when you work so hard and you're passionate about your craft, why should you not go where it's the highest awarded and the highest honor? You know what I mean? Not saying that the Soul Train Awards is not the highest honor, or the BET Awards or NAACP, but the Grammys is recognition for everyone. That's the highest honor in the music industry. So it's not that you're making albums to get a Grammy, but you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into something. That's I think that what's the NFL award show that we just when they give
ESPYs.
the ESPYs, is that where they give they give the highest honors there, right?
Yeah, for sports.
For that year.
Yep.
Right. So it's like sports, the NFL has it, NBA has it, the Oscars is another, they have it for movies. So the Grammys is for music. Why wouldn't you want to show up and your body of work has spoke for itself? You've been nominated and you deserve this space. I think that there's been so many Black artists, I feel like, who deserved at least a nomination, and it didn't happen. Summer Walker, number one. Let's talk about Summer Walker. Her Over It album, amazing body of work, amazing body of work. And not only that, her Soft Life 2 album, I think that was the name of it, that just dropped, amazing body of work. Didn't get nominated for anything.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, but as we always say, you want to control what you can't control.
Yeah.
You hope, that your album would get those accolades such as, Grammys, but at the end of the day, you're making the music for yourself and also for your fans. And so, we just can't, at the end of the day, be dependent upon outside influences, So if I was an artist, although I'd be disappointed, I'll be more concerned about the integrity of my work.
Yeah.
And I would like for, me operating my integrity, I would like to win awards. But if it means I have to operate outside of my integrity, outside of the things I want to do in order to win an award like Grammys, I don't want it. It's more important, I think, for some artists to stay true to themselves and not pander towards whatever type of music the Grammy, series is giving awards for. And so I respect those artists that stay true to their art form.
And a lot of them do that. I think that some artists are able to diversify their catalog because they're just gifted in that manner. They don't have to just sing, one genre of music. They're good at R&B, they're good at country, they're good at pop, they're good at rock, they're good at, some of these artists are very multifaceted. They're very talented in these other areas, and so they dib and dab in those areas, which is great. And it's also a way of evolving and reinventing yourself too. Some people don't know how to take that because they're so used to keeping you in this same box that hearing you like get out that box, sometimes they don't like that music. But a Beyonce has been so successful of being able to put her foot in every last one of these genres of music and it become amazing. And that's why, like Lemonade, again, that album had rock, it had pop, it had R&B, it had country, it had a little bit of everything.
She's never had like a full crossover. She never went fully pop.
No.
It'd be interesting if she went fully pop and then got album of the year. That would be but she stayed true to like herself and her fans. She said she made music for Black people, and so her making music for Black people made
But she went fully house though.
She went house. House is more Black people. It's started in the Black culture for sure.
Okay.
So,
but that was different for her too.
Yeah, it was different. She stretches herself.
But it was still an amazing album. Yeah. But still.
She dibbles and dabbles, but she's never done like a completely like just pop, techno, just But house is more.
Would you consider the I Am part of?
Let's see.
Because one side was more pop, and then
one
Sasha
side was
Fierce
more
was
pop.
more R&B.
Yeah, but it still was not just focused on the pop. And it did it have? I guess she had what, Fire Boy, those type of songs, but. Did she have major dance songs on the album? On I Am?
On the Sasha Fierce.
Okay.
Because remember, she had Single Ladies.
She had Single Ladies. That was
She had Diva. Yeah. So yeah, she had some stuff on there, but
it wasn't completely.
No, but that was the more. That was
the more her.
But just in general, it's like you can win all of these awards, but at the same time, don't tell me that I'm not good enough for the main awards. You know what I mean? Don't tell me that my work ethic isn't good enough. Don't tell me that what I've done, somebody else has probably not even done even close to me, but then they still are winning over me. And I think that we can't sit here and downplay the fact that just because somebody has all of these things doesn't mean that they deserve something more. You know what I mean? Because you're still putting in the same blood, sweat, and tears and passion. And she's one of the most passionate artists that we know of our generation in general. Like, I mean, who else do you know that is as passionate as Beyonce?
Yeah, that's
as great as an artist as she is.
That's just like telling like an NBA basketball player that makes it to the conference championship every time. You made it to the conference championship. You don't deserve to win the NBA finals. Right. Like the conference championship is enough. No, you want the big thing.
And if you can do it every year, then because they play to go every year.
They play to go every year. Some of them,
Steph Curry, I remember one year went back to back to back. The Warriors went back to back to back. And I guess that for some people, they started to become unlikable to some people because it's like they always win, but they're always rehearsing for this moment. They're always practicing for this moment. They're always giving 1,000%.
That is settled on the court.
Right.
Like, it's not some subjective measure. It's settled on the court in between the lines. I think the issue with like the Grammys or Oscars is it's subjective.
Absolutely.
And, if it had more defined metrics or some way where you can, some quantitative things where you can compete or whatever it may be, then I think it would be more likely that Beyonce would win. But anytime you don't have any defined metrics and everything's subjective, you get things like Beyonce not ever winning album of the year.
Because it's politics, but it's more so skin color has a lot to do with it. Unfortunately, we have not gotten to a place of equality when it comes to the Grammys, the Oscars, and things of that nature. We just haven't. And we continue to see it every single year that our people are being left out of major categories or left out in general. Ain't no way that the Grammys or the Oscars should always be predominantly just Caucasian when we see all of these amazing, movies and music that Black people are creating.
But the Grammys, they did the last year. Did they do the hip hop award?
Congratulations, the 50 years of hip hop.
They did that diversity thing,
because everybody was doing 50 years of hip hop. Congratulations. That was your one moment of inclusivity.
And I think they tried to give Jay-Z this award for Humanitarian of the Year.
Well, because they incorporated that Dr. Dre award last year.
Yeah.
So,
but just to appease, I think they really were trying to appease like the black people and trying
absolutely.
to, and the Carters as well. But we still want
but it's still, we still want just due, just for everybody, not just speaking just for Beyonce, but for all of these artists who I feel, and a lot of us feel like, why wasn't that album nominated? Or why didn't they win? Why did this artist win over this artist? And even take SZA. SZA was nominated for like 9, and every single article that came out said SZA's gonna win Album of the Year. Every last one of them, and she did not win none of the major categories. None of them. It just goes to show, like, are we not good enough for those major categories? Is it you want us in the room just enough to smile in someone's face, but then also be like, got you. That's kind of what it feels like. Like, got him in the room, let's give him the little award, make him a little happy, but they ain't gonna get nothing else.
So the argument is to be made, don't let them say got you. Don't be there. Drake did not attend. A lot of these other artists are not attending. And I understand wanting to attend and be a part of the biggest night, but if Beyonce ain't there, it ain't one of the biggest nights. Yeah. Let's be clear.
She is. If you watch, celebrities line up just to say hi to her. That's why it's like, she is the biggest one, the biggest name in the room, regardless of who wins the biggest award. At the end of the day, she is your favorite artist's favorite artist. That's just the reality of the situation. And but her work shows for it. You do not have to like her. I've said this before, love or hate her, but you cannot deny the fact that she's the greatest of all time of our generation at what she does.
So what point does Beyonce say, I'm not attending? Did she get to that point, or did she remain graceful and say, this is an opportunity for me to win more Grammys and to etch my name in stone even more by getting up to 40 Grammys and also a chance to showcase my talent, so...
That's a great question, because when I think about, she's very humble, her humility and her integrity and things of that nature. If you watch her body language, like even last year, I think a part of her is
hopeful,
hurt. I think a part of her is she's grateful, but she's also hurt because she knows that she is deserving. And she deserves it, and everybody in the room knows that. And to still show up just because, hey, I have been nominated, I'm sure I'm going to win some awards or whatever, but then a got you moment, once again, I'm here, and it is just kind of like a slap in the face type of thing. I think the reason why she will show up if she's nominated is because of who she is. We've seen who she is, how she operates, right? I think that we know Beyonce enough to know that she is so graceful and gracious, and because she's so humble and she's so grateful, regardless of the situation. Now, maybe behind closed doors, she gets to have that breakdown and temper tantrum and really say what's on her mind. But for us to see, we're presented with someone who is, I can tell that she's affected and probably bothered by it, but what she loves to do is, she loves to make great music, and she loves to I think she loves the relationship that she also has with her fans that she shares, and she loves to tour. And so I don't think she's going to be discouraged enough to like stop. If she just doesn't go one day, it's because she just decided like, hey, I've had enough. But I don't know if she'll ever stop going.
I think she is still somewhat hopeful. That's why she goes. She's hoping that she's going to get that Album of the Year. I mean, I don't think it's life or death thing, but I do feel like a part of her is hoping, the Grammys actually, they get it right.
Yeah.
And so I think she's just optimistic in that way. She's optimistic in that way.
It's crazy because you listen to her body of work and you're like, what more can she do? I know that she can still make amazing music, but you think about those albums that really should have won. Wow. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, what more could she have done?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day.
But not even have done, but like now, making another album, like what's gonna be enough for
her? At the end of the day, it's not really in her control. We see that. It's in the control of these
no-name face, no-name people.
Yeah.
White people that should have aged out of these positions a long time ago. That's why there needs to be a cap. I feel like with the Oscars, in the Grammys. I feel like
And with Congress.
Oh, definitely in Congress. I said this somewhere. I forget where I put this. I said, especially in Congress, the cap for me. This is just me speaking. I feel like the cap should be 65.
Oh, that's a little bit young. That's still young these days.
But I think because of the way of the world and how everything moves so fast and how we
65.
transition, so I just feel
I
like
look
it
at my
should be
mom,
65.
and my mom is still evolving. She still listens to it. I think the cap is maybe 75,
Listen.
80, but 65 is still young. Like these
I
days,
know,
65 is not your 65
I know
20
women,
years ago.
I know women that are, women and men that are about 6 years old and they are stubborn as I don't know what, and they so set in just this way. 65 should be the cap.
I'm gonna say 75 or 80. How old is Bobby?
70 something. You know,
70.
he's been in the news a lot
because
because
Biden, Trump. I cut it off at 70. 70, we're cutting it off at 70.
Yeah. They don't want Biden to run because they feel like he has like Alzheimer's. He can't remember stuff. He just says things. He's not. So it's kind of interesting. But I'm just saying 65. Not saying 65 is old. That's not what I'm saying. Because I don't think 65 is old. I'm just saying a cap as far as there's nobody that's 65 that I know right now that's listening to like a Beyonce record or going, you know what I mean? Or going to see certain movies or things of that nature or knows what's really going on like at the high school level or even the college level. That's why I'm just saying, because you're not really able to identify the need there or relate to what's going on with that. That's all that I'm saying. So 65 is not making you old. I'm just saying you're not really on that level of this generation and this movement of what's going. You're kind of like out of touch a little bit.
I feel
like that's okay.
I say some diversity in the room. I think you have older and younger people. You want to have all perspectives. So it's okay to have some.
So if not 65, then what?
I would say, I hate to even put an age limit. If I had to put an age limit, it would be like 75 or 80. And then
I just think 75 and 80 is.
But it would have to be like a range and young people. It wouldn't just be that, because some of these older people, they have experience and they know the history of music. They know all these things and they can speak to that. And then you have the younger people. So I think it should be a
Well, some
mix.
of them are like set in their ways, and that's what the problem is. They're so set in their ways of this is all we're going to vote as.
But how do you shift people's mindset through exposure? People are operating in that same circle around other older people. I think it's just too many older people on it. Not get rid of all the older people, but have some diversity on the board. Diversity in age.
Well, that's the first thing. Before age, have
the
diversity. Before the age, have an equal number of Hispanic, an equal number of African American, it shouldn't just be 90% Caucasian and then 5 and 5. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be an equal number, I feel like, in order for it to be diversified the way that we really want it to be, to see that change. I don't know, but I want to see something different. That's all. I think we all want to see something different. But another thing I want to touch on before we wrap this video up is the simple fact that yes, Jay-Z went up there, and if you notice, he brought his daughter, Blue Ivy, who's now 12 years old, on stage with him as he poured into his wife, as he, in front of his daughter, right? I think people missed the bigger picture of this black man bringing his black daughter on stage to speak highly of his black wife and the treatment that she's received and the way that she deserves to be treated, the respect that she not only deserves but has earned. What he's also done is made an example of what his daughter should look for. A man that's going to stand up for you, that is going to, in a room full of people, in front of hundreds of thousands of millions of people watching, and speak life, and speak love, and speak support, speak guidance, and speak and to lift her up. And we know that Beyonce kind of gets embarrassed kind of quickly, and I think you can read that a little bit on her because she doesn't like to be put on the spot like that. But it was important for a Blue Ivy to see her dad, speak into her mother that way, or speak to a woman this way, because this is how you should be spoken to. This is the type of the support that you should have from a man. seek from a friend, and just people in general, you know what I mean? And I think we miss that part by just, hey, why is he, now that it's Beyonce, you don't, like, this has been the conversation. This is nothing new. They've been feeling this way. It's in their songs, you know. This has been the conversation, but the bigger picture of what happened was the example that was set just in that moment.
Yeah, I think as another perspective, he went up there and he didn't make it necessarily about himself.
Right.
You know, the award was given to him for the community service that he's done, but he saw it as an opportunity to, you know, lift his wife up, lift up other artists who may have been mistreated by the Grammys. So in that moment, he didn't make it about himself in terms of like him winning the award. He saw it as an opportunity to lift up the rest of the race as well.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful moment to see. It was beautiful again for, you know, Blue Ivy to witness her dad shining the light on his mom, on her mom, because that did not dim his light at all. And I think so many people just are so focused on it just being about them all the time. He used that moment to shine his light on his wife. And it goes back to, you don't have to dim your light to see other people or help other people's light shine just as bright. Everybody's light can shine together. And I just thought that was a beautiful moment that, you know, he was able to do that. And hopefully it was received that way. If you really go back and watch, it was a great example, not only again for Blue Ivy, but for young Black girls in general, just to see this type of treatment, that this type of love, this type of admiration, this type of, you know, family dynamics. And I just thought that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So Grammys, you know, you probably won't see this video, but get it together. Like,
get it together.
We're all a little just, I don't know. I think we're all a little over it. This Grammys was
and
not
I think
the best.
We're like Beyonce in certain ways. We're hoping they get it right. That's why we keep watching and watching. So,
and I definitely watched because I said SZA's gonna get album of the year. So I was like, I want to watch her get album of the year. And of course that didn't happen.
Year after year.
Yeah. So, you know, that kind of sucks. And then now the Oscars will be coming up, and, you know, even with the Oscars, there's not a lot of Black actors that were nominated, or movies. And so I think people are becoming more and more hype about NAACP awards and, you know, things of that nature. But again, award season is award season. And I don't think, regardless of who's hosting, award season is award season. Your body of work is all that matters.
Yeah. And then I think you have other artists like Drake that's focusing on commercial success. That is an award, commercial success, having the fans, getting the money from making the music as well. And then a lot of people also focus on touring. You know, you have someone like Usher who's going on tour and selling out, you know, all these arenas and have to add 2, 3, and 4 nights. So that's another level of being awarded, by your fans showing up to show you love and to celebrate your music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you touched on Usher, but we're gonna really get into Usher here on the next video. But yeah, we want to come in and talk about the Grammys. And that was the whole topic, right? You know, we touched on a little bit of everything when it comes to the Grammys, but we do believe that a lot of people deserved at one point in time to, you know, be Grammy nominated. There's a lot of Black artists that have amazing albums that have never been nominated before, never seen a Grammy, never been to the event. We just got to do better. I feel like the Grammys has got to do better to be more inclusive, more diverse, and they keep acting as if they're changing these rules, regulations, and policies to become that way, but it's just not working. We're not seeing
same old.
They regress every time.
So we can still hold the Grammys to a standard and also support our NAACP awards, our BET awards, all these other Soul Train awards.
Absolutely.
So we want the Grammy to do better, and we also going to show love to those other awards that focus on the color of our people.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank y'all so much for watching this video. Drop your thoughts down in the comments if you have any on this subject matter, but we appreciate you, and tune in for the next video. Peace.
Deuces.